guys, welcome back to my channel. So before I start this video, I'd like to state that it has been sponsored by the beautiful people of nurses.co.uk. So before you watch this video, do me a favor and go and subscribe to their channel. Also, if you love what you hear, you think it's so informative and you think we're doing a good job, please do not forget to like and comment. We would like to know what you think. Now for today's video, I will be speaking about what to do to survive placement. So I'm currently in my third year of nursing. I'm an adult nurse and it's been lovely so far when it comes to placement. I've had how many placements so far? I've had about 4 placements so far. I've had the community, I've had medical, I've had surgical, you name it, I've had everything. When I was in my first year, I was literally so scared to start placement and I was like, oh, what do I expect? Especially if you don't have like a background in care or anything like that, it can be a little bit daunting. So today I'm just going to speak to you about the things to expect and what to do to survive placement. Now the first thing I'm going to say is to be prepared. Guys, you're going to somewhere new, right? This should be a skill that you take throughout your life. Always be prepared for anything and everywhere that you go. So when I mean be prepared, once you've been allocated your placement or wherever you're going to be placed at, it's so important for you to make sure that you get all the information that you need on the ward that you've been placed in, or whether it's community, wherever you've been placed. It's not, forget you're in a professional degree, act professional. So your preparation process is so important. Now if you've been allocated to a place that you've never been before, I would suggest that you find out where it is, find out what time you're meant to start your shift, what time you're finishing your shift. If you actually feel like you don't know where it is, or if you're so unsure, go and visit the ward before the day itself so you know exactly where it is. I remember one of my placements, I had like a day off my ward. I was meant to go to a research ward and I really thought, oh okay, it's on the site, it's on the same site as my placement, so I don't really need to do anything. I'll just ask, I'll just do whatever. Guys, I was 30 minutes late and I had to obviously call in to tell them that I was going to be late because I couldn't find the place, but then I also had to ask for direction. So in that light, it's not really looking good on you. If you don't know where you're going, ask and be prepared. Okay, remember this video, be prepared. Another thing I'll say is, as part of your preparation, you need to make sure that you actually look like a professional. I'm talking about dress code. Make sure you familiarize yourself with your university's policies and the dress code of the trust that you're going to work for. I'm talking, you need your badge because that's your identity. You need to make sure that your uniform is ironed well. Please don't go to placement looking crusty. You need your epaulets. Make sure that your nails are cut and they're not painted. You know these things, guys. Don't forget, you're being watched. You're being watched by everyone that you work with. There is the popular one, medication doesn't matter. You go on placement and different nurses are like, oh, you don't need to learn the medication. Seize whatever opportunity it is for you to learn the medication that is being used on your ward. Now, I'm not telling you to be so rigid and dogmatic. I'm just saying, if you have the opportunity to just look into it and just see what it is all about, also just learning all the comorbidities that your patients come with so that you can be able to match the drugs together, it helps you. Guys, I'm in my 3rd year and literally I just finished my last placement and my mentor was like, what's this shock for? And I was looking at her like, because my other placement, they used to tell me, oh, you'll be fine when you qualify, that's when you need to worry and bother about learning your medications. That's not true, girl. You better get that BNF. Get your BNF. Your BNF is your best friend. BNF, best friend. Just remove the N. Just start little. Placement can be stressful as well, but just make sure that you're using all the resources to learn as much, because when you go back into uni, you've offloaded, and then when you come back to placement, you have to start learning again. So start getting that habit of learning all your medications. Well, the end goal is for you to be a professional nurse. They're not going to look at you and think, oh, she was a student nurse. Even if you have your preceptorship, they still want you to be in some way educated. They want you to be informed. This is already in the NMC anyways, but competency. If you do not know anything, ask for help. You are not in placement to impress anyone, because you've been asked to do something by your mentor or anyone in the workplace and you feel scared or you feel uninformed or you just have no clue what you're meant to do. Don't do it. Just tell them, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to do it. You've been trained. We have all our mandatory trainings for every year. You've got the BLS, you've got the manual handling. You've been trained not to do things that you're not competent with. Please do yourself a favor and ask, especially when it comes to drugs and medication. Also, speaking about competency when it comes to drugs and medication, I'm hoping that whoever is watching this is not happening in your placement. You're not allowed to prescribe drugs or even administer drugs to patients without being supervised by your mentors, because we as nurses are being trained to cover our backs. Not only are we asked to write down everything we've done, because that's our evidence, but also before you do things, make sure that you have someone watching you, you have someone who's approving of you to do the things that you're meant to do. Let me give you an instance now. I was in a cardiac ward for my last placement, and a patient came from A&E. This wasn't my patient, I was actually in triage. So triage, we just get the patients in and then they go into the wards where the nurses actually sort them out. A doctor comes to me and she's like, take the patient's drug chart, give it to the nurse and tell the nurse to administer this medication. Now, I don't know much about the patients, I'm just doing the paperwork. So I'm looking into it now. I've gone to the nurse, give it to her, left. She comes up to me like 5 minutes later and she's like, oh, Eniola, can you take this back and tell her that I cannot prescribe this medication? And I was like, why, what's wrong? And she was like, in the ambulance, the patient has actually been given a higher dose of the same medication that she's asking, but a stronger form. And I was like, who? Imagine if the nurse had given that patient that medication. Do you know how messy that is? You literally kill a patient. I know that some people feel pressured when on placement to be able to show that they are skilled in that. Listen, get into the habit of doing things the right way. The last thing I'll say for placement is for you to use your resources. Use your resources. I remember that every time I'm on placement, all the nurses there are like, oh, Eniola, have you been to this other ward? Have you been anywhere apart from our ward where you've been placed? And I'll be like, no, like I haven't heard anything, I don't know anything, blah blah blah. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, this is your only opportunity to learn as much as you can whilst on placement. Use the resources whilst you're here. Talk to the doctors, talk to other nurses that come in that also part of the multidisciplinary team in that ward. Make sure you speak to them, ask questions. That's why you're on placement. You're not just there to be an HCA, you're not just there to be an extra helping hand. Go to other nearby wards, work there for a day, you know, speak to the HCAs, ask them questions. You've got the physios and the occupational therapists, spend a day with them. You've got the specialist nurses that come spend a day with them. You've got different people coming into the ward. Make sure you literally speak to them. Use your resources, because you only get one chance. You only get one chance. You need to use it right. I hope that this video has been quite insightful for those who are just starting placement. I just wanted to talk to you guys about what I've learned so far. I hope that this has helped. Please guys, do not forget again to like, comment, share and subscribe if you like this video. Also, we've got some more information for you from nurses.co.uk. It will be in the description box below. See you guys later. Bye.